Hello everyone, it is Wazaldo or Wesley, and today I'm doing a bit of a new video where I'm going to be talking over me playing in person. This video is partially in thanks to the Tuxedo Mask, who streams the locals I go to regularly and puts them up on YouTube. I'm going to be in this 2 times. This is the Table 1 stream for Millennium Games where I play regularly, so you can find this on YouTube. This was filmed on the 2nd of February. I'm making this on the 8th, and I'm sure it's going to go up much later than when I'm actually filming, just because I'm trying to get ahead on uploads for nationals. But in this video I'm going to be playing Foxy and kind of explaining how I play as I go and why I play like I am, and looking out for any mistakes that I make. So if you like this kind of video, please consider giving the video a like, subscribing if you want to see more of it, letting me know down below what you think of the video, what you think of the format. I might put it in 1.5 times speed just so it's not a super long video, but yeah. That's what you can expect from this video, so I hope you like it. My deck list will be down in the description. It is my standard deck list, I think with Katakuri as the 2 of tech choice in it. But yeah, I'm gonna just throw it on 1.25 speed and kind of hop into the video. So in this matchup, I'm gonna be playing Foxy into Red Yellow Sabo. This is a little bit of a weird matchup just because, I mean, you wouldn't really expect to see this at something like nationals. You can see my amazing setup, my Doge sleeves down in the corner. Those are for my Don, and my Hatsune Miku deck sleeves. You can also see in the corner as well those Wimmy Shop dice, so check out Wimmy Shop if you want to see more of those. And then my sleeves that I meant to re-sleeve my deck with, and I still haven't actually, so I gotta remember to do that. But yeah, we're rolling. I think we're doing high roll. I think my opponent does take first. Maybe we're going low, but you do want to play second on Foxy. So I grab 5. My opponent sees a pretty decent opening hand. I see a lot of 4 costs and the 8 cost. I see Henny Tamizu, a Bon Clay, stuff like that. Pretty good ramp. This deck is like new ramp deck. Okay, so I'm going first. It's not great for me. I just passed the first turn. My opponent's gonna search. He sees a Kuma and some Kikus. I think he already has a Kiku in hand, so he's not really jumping to put that out. I think this turn, I just go 5 at life to get around any triggers. He puts something in trash, I play an Itamizu, and I just ramp. I really want to ramp fast in this matchup so I can just get some aggro on my opponent, but I am a 5 life leader, so I take this first swing. I'm going to slow it down a bit, just because in the early game I want to be explaining more about why I'm playing. So going to normal speed. Right here is kind of when it matters. My opponent's going to play a Perona, maybe. I think he takes that back, but now I do know that he has a Perona. He's going to swing 6 at me and just put the aggro on. I don't really mind falling low here, just because my goal is to ramp as fast as possible and get some big bodies out and kind of just end the game as fast as possible. I think I do have the God ramp here, so I play the Porsche to get out another body on the field. And I'm going to, I believe I grab a Manda here so that I can ramp really fast. Or I grab the Porsche Searcher, the 1 cost Porsche Searcher. But I do think the Manda is the play here, just so I can ramp up. I don't remember if I have any top end in my hand at this point. Maybe I don't, and that's why I grabbed the Porsche. Then here I should play out that Bon Clay that I had. Yeah, and so I get 1 ramped back active. I have 4 Don up, and that leaves me with a lot of options. I have 2 Mandas in hand, so that's why I didn't grab that other Manda. And then I play the Porsche. My opponent wants to read my leader. Not a lot of people play against Foxy often. There were actually 2 Foxys in this locals, and you'll see at the end, it's actually a Foxy versus Foxy mirror matchup. So it does get pretty intense. I double search the Porsche off of the Porsche. One of the great things about the Porsche. And I think I'm looking for top end here. I do grab the slow beam here because I need to see it in this matchup to slow down my opponent's aggression, because that healing into a +2. I'm going to go 5 at life, and then I do believe I just ramp with the Manda after. My opponent does not get a trigger, unfortunately, and that's a really big thing that kind of decides how this game goes. I play the Manda, and my opponent's probably like, what the heck does that do? It just ramps it 1 rested. It's a really strong purple card. Honestly, if it was in any other deck, it'd be really strong in my opinion. It's still pretty strong in this deck too, and I believe I hit 9 Don next turn. So I'm just looking to drop the 8 cost Foxy and start locking down my opponent. No matter what they play here, I'll probably just rest it and put it into the freeze state for Foxy using my leader ability. And we're kind of just waiting here for my opponent to make a move. It's going to start by turning on leader ability and swinging 7. I'm going to fall down low here just because I need to play really aggressive. They lock down the Bon Clay with the Perona, and it's just my turn now. So I just dropped the Foxy. I rest the Perona, draw 2, trash 1. And I probably trash a brick here, or just something I don't need for this matchup. I have a lot of cards in hand at this point. I'm doing really well. I am at 2 life, so I need to start swinging the game in my favor and kind of closing it out, progressing it, because my opponent's at 3 life, which basically means they're at 4 life with their leader. I assume I pitch a Foxy. Yeah. That Foxy is going to be helpful for slowing down my opponent, but then I do rest the Perona, so I can lock that down and start just playing aggressively. Probably start swinging with my leader first, because I want to ramp it back. And if they get a trigger out, and they don't have a Perona in trash either, so I'm not too concerned. So now they have a Hogback on the field, and it would be good for me to swing into the Hogback, because Hogback actually cannot clear Hogback. Unfortunately, I don't get to clear it, and I forget to ramp back with my Foxy and Itamizu. So I fall down on Don next turn. I go to 9, but it would have been nice to hit 10 probably, so I could play a little more aggressive. Here, I believe my opponent turns on his leader ability and puts the Perona into life. This is probably a really good play, just because it does help get some value out of having the Perona on the field frozen. But that does require an investment of 4 Don on something you're not going to use. So that's really good. I think I'm counting cards here. My opponent probably asked how many I had in hand. I think I have 7 or 6. Alright, looks like I have a Manda and a Resonante and Law in my hand at the front, and then 2 slow beams, so I probably want to be able to leave 2 Don up, which would have been really, really helpful to ramp back to 9, so I'll be at 10 this coming turn, but unfortunately I do not. Alright, I think investing the Don here is honestly the worst play, because you're investing 4 Don in the mid game, wherein my opponent doesn't have or 3 Don, I believe, into healing a life and not really doing too much. It does get the Hog back to be a +2, but that's not really a positive play necessarily. Like if you played Clash Royale, you'll kind of get this. It's not mana value or elixir value. It's a bad elixir trade for Hogback. Gonna swing a 7. I'm not gonna protect that just because I still have the leader effect online, and I have a Foxy who's gonna really help me slow down my opponent. My opponent does see 2 Sindris here, which is really rough. He's probably looking for something a little more impactful. Might grab the Kikinojo. Not a lot of great options here, unfortunately. For my opponent's search, they grab the 2K. They're really stocking up for when I go tall and wide, which does make sense. Once I have 2 Foxes out on the field, there's going to be a lot more pressure on my opponent, and they're not really going to be able to do all that much. Yeah, they play out the Kikinojo. And I go to 9. I think here I realized I forgot to ramp, which really sucks for me. Then I rest 7 and play out the 7-cost Foxy. That makes it so I'm pretty safe, all things considered. And then I go 5 at life, return 3, and freeze the Hogback and the Sabo. This is really rough for my opponent. I really deny them a lot of value by preventing them from swinging with one of their characters on board, and from using their leader ability with Don attached, or swinging with Don attached, so that they get value from using their leader ability. They do get to trigger out a Hogback here, which is rough. I think I'm asking here if the 7k on the Hogback stays, and it does, I believe. So I forget that Mr. 2 is base power as well. I ramped the 2 back using the 2 Foxies, I believe. That's what I just did. And I go 5 at life, I believe. 5 at something. Or no, I think I went 7. And then I think it's base power. It's not or something. Yeah, I go 6 at life rather than 7 because it's base power rather than active power. So that Hogback is a 7k because of the Sabo ability, and Kiku's a 6, but the base power of Hogback is a 5. So that was a little bit of a knowledge gap there. All right, my opponent starts swinging early, swinging into the Mr. 2 with the Hogback rather than the Lilith. Probably wasn't great. I would have let it go either way, even if I have a ton of cards in hand. And if I didn't let it go, they probably would have gotten more value from me countering out of that. So he replaces the Hogback that was frozen with the Gecko Moria in order to get it in trash and get some value from it. And then puts a Kumasi into life so that he can trigger something out. And then he heals another one with the Gecko by putting it into life and bumping up the power of his Kikinojo. The Gecko being in life gives him an extra trigger, which is really, really nice. And he goes 7 at my life, I assume. I probably want to counter out here just because I'm really low on life and I'm pretty decent in cards in hand. I'm flipping off the Foxy because, we're talking about how it's a 8k but -1, but that would be an 8k on my turn, and I counter out with a 2k 1k. I go back up to 10, and at this point I'm thinking about I either have to progress the game and stay alive another turn and set up lethal, or I need to just stall and get myself that much closer to having lethal. So I probably only have 3 more turns left. I can kind of see it with what I have. I do decide to stall by getting a bigger board, wider board to go for game, and I spin up that die because my opponent's -2 on his turn, his board is, which really does slow him down and is probably what let me stall so well. At this point, I probably would have wanted to like clear board, clear a Hogback maybe. I know he does have a Perona in trash, so clearing the Hogback doesn't do me all that much. It actually kind of slows me down. But I think I just go 5 at lead here. I might go 5 at the Hogback, 6 at lead. Return the 3, freeze, I think the Kikinojo and the leader. I'm just going to swing in increasing order. My opponent has a Kuma in hand. I actually don't think we saw that Kuma be played this game, which might have really helped me. Got a few bricks in hand, but it's not a horrible hand, so probably counters out here. But he could take this and trigger out an active Perona. Or a Hogback, another Hogback. Yeah. Triggers out the Perona. I mean, my Porsche can't attack. Everything being a 7 or an 8 really helps me into this matchup. So I'm thankful for that. I go 7 at life. And he freezes my Foxy. So that can't attack, so that's my last swing. I'm going to bump up the speed just a little bit here. I'm going to bump it to like 1.1. Just so things go a little bit quicker. And he's just refreshing. I'm shuffling compulsively. Alright, so he's going to start with an 8 at the Foxy or life, I believe. Swinging an 8 when I have 2 down up isn't the greatest. Or no, because it's -2. That is a 6 at life, which isn't a great play either. Just because, I mean, swinging 6 really sets him behind. I think he forgot that he still has an extra -1. And he's doing some Don math here. I think at this point I have him slowed down enough to really set up for going for game. So I just need to think about what I want to do. I think he's thinking he's in a rough spot, so he has to set up his own going for game soon. And so if I get a 6 swung at anything, or just anything 1k over, I do have the slow beam to rest his like entire board. So I know I'm in a spot where I can kind of slow down him going for game really, really well and not really have to worry about him setting up. So that is really good in this matchup. Right, does the 8-cost Gecko Moria come out to heal him up even more? That Foxy being on the field really does slow him down just because it's harder for him to hit 7k power on something. So he's going to pop that Kiku into life and buff up the Hogback kind of back to normal. Just to be a 5k normal, but it's +2 and -2 because of the Foxy. And then I just rest his Perona and stay healthy. At this point, I'm like kind of chilling. If I clear board, I'm in a good spot, but now he goes back up to 4 health. So I either have to know I can survive this next turn at 2 life and then set myself up for going for game, or because he has no Don up, he probably doesn't have any good counter in hand. Or I stall even more, set up a bigger board, and set up myself to go for game next turn. So I don't want to go for game this turn because, I mean, he's at 4 life. That's not really great for me. So I think I just need to freeze the Kuma. At this point, I could clear the Porsche, or not the Porsche, the Perona if I wanted to. I don't think that's a bad play. swinging a 7 into a 5 would get me cards out of his hand and reduce his possibility of setting up game. Yeah, and I do get it. He doesn't freeze anything but the Itamizu, which is really good for me. I have 5 rampers on board at this point, so I just start going for life. And I think I can get him down to 2 or 1 this turn, so I am setting myself up for that. I'm hoping I see another Perona or something out of life here. A Hogback would kind of slow me down enough to where I'm a little nervous about the game. So he does play the Hogback. I have no real way of getting value out of clearing the Hogback, so I don't want to clear it. I think I just go 5 at life. Yeah, that's 5 at life to either trigger out the Kikinojo, which would be bad for me just because he gets even more swings on board. He does get it. I was kind of hoping he would counter there, and then I swing a 9, put him down to 1 health. If I had the restand event here, I could probably go for game, but I don't know if he does trigger out something. I don't know if he counters any of these swings. He might just put himself down to 0 life and hope he can go for game. And then I pass here and leave him. I'm pretty sure I played that Foxy this turn. Or no, I played that last turn? Hold on, let's get a rewind. Was I cheating? Uh-oh. I do believe I played that Foxy this turn. That's awkward. It's unfortunate for me. So my opponent triggers out, or plays out the Gecko Moria. I think I still had game here no matter what, even if he didn't take that life. And it was a little advantageous for him to take the life. But yeah, that's my bad. Shouldn't have done that. Totally forgot I played it out. I think I did. Like, I've been sticking at 2 life for a while here. Alright, so let me go back to the turn where I played it. Yeah, I played it, rested the Kuma, and started swinging. Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, alright. So we're back to him having the stuff in life. He puts the Gecko into life, and he's at 2 life now. He would have been at 3 life. I'm pretty sure I still have game here. He can't really swing with anything unless he attaches a Don to the Kiku. And that's a 5k swing. Doesn't really do him anything. I just counter out. Or no, the Kiku's +2. Then he searches a Perona. Yeah, I better not do that at Nats. That would be really bad. I feel bad that I did that with the Foxy. And at this point, I just set myself up for game, going for life. I think I have a restand event in hand. Got a lot of counter, which is really good for him. Yeah, and he calls it there. Yeah, it's awkward that I messed up that Foxy play. I'm really sorry about that. That feels rough. I don't love that. But yeah, I'm talking about the Rosinante and Law on the deck now. And then this is not me playing, this is somebody else playing Foxy. I'm gonna go skip to the finals. So now I am on the top here. This is a Foxy mirror. This is my first time ever actually playing a Foxy mirror. So we'll see how that goes. If we go high roll, I roll a 6. And then he rolls a 9. Yeah, 9. I think I'm going first here. I'm gonna skip ahead past the mulligans. Alright. I'm going first, yep. I have a turn 1 play, so I play out the Porsche, search top 5, search a 7-cost Foxy. I think in this matchup, my goal is probably to ramp up faster than my opponent and then play my big bodies out and beat him down faster. I know my opponent's deck list is a little bit different from mine. He runs the Groggy Monsters, which is probably pretty decent in this matchup. So I do have to watch out for that. And if he can go wider with the 3-cost Porsche faster than me, that would also be pretty rough. I think I have the 3-cost Porsche here though. Yeah. So oh no, I have the Itomizu. So I just ramp. And then I don't swim with my leader. I mean, I'm not really in a spot where I have to worry about swimming with my leader, just because if he locks down my leader, he's kind of screwed by, like, Don-wise, falling that far behind. I know he saw the Porsche, though, and I think at this point I could lose somehow if he locked down my leader this early. So I don't swing, because he could get the third Foxy Pirate out and freeze my leader. He's going to chopper, and then does he play the chopper? No, he plays the Ito Mizu. Sometimes in that situation, I will play the chopper instead of the Ito Mizu, because the Ito Mizu can ramp every turn, while chopper can only ramp while you're behind. I go up to 6 Don, which isn't great for me. At this point, I think I just rest all my Don and play the Rosinante and Law. And Rosinante and Law doesn't do me anything here just because I am ahead in Don. But it does develop me a 6-cost 8k body with blocker, which is going to let me slow down my opponent's aggression even more. And then next turn, I can actually swing with it if I really want to, in order to put some aggression onto my opponent early. If I did have some way to rest my opponent's leader, I think this would have been a much easier matchup. I mean, this would be a much harder game, because whoever would see that, whatever lets you rest your opponent's leader, would be whoever saw it first would win. All right, and now I am ahead in Don, so my opponent can use the chopper to ramp. So it does make sense that he held onto it, and we're just doing some math. This is a very long and thought out game. He's gonna swing a few 5s at me. I definitely just give a 1k here, or I just take. I'm looking for cards in hand, maybe just like seeing a bigger board. No reason for my opponent to swing a lot. I maybe should have blocked that first one so I could start swinging into the Porsche. Yeah, I was kind of counting on my opponent to misplay, which probably wasn't the greatest idea. And then I think I do end up swinging with the Rosinante and Law here. Yeah, I just want to, again, put that pressure on early. My opponent probably takes this or blocks it. So, yeah. I think not blocking that first swing with the Rosinante and Law was a misplay, because, I mean, I could have countered out of a 6-2, or I could have taken it. There was no world where I get punished for blocking the first swing, and then I can swing at the Porsche with the Rosinante and Law and clear the board. That was definitely a misplay. I do end up losing this game. I will be just like forthright and like honest. I lose it because of a big misplay I played. This Doflamingo coming out was also huge for my opponent, because it meant I couldn't put pressure on this turn with my characters, and that's kind of what you have to do in this matchup. So that Doflamingo and the mirror really sucks for me. All right, and I think I did drop another big body this turn. I'm not certain. And what do I see here? I see some alt arts in my hand, so maybe I grab one of those. Yeah, it's the 8 cost, so I probably grab that and play it. It's gonna be a good play for me, just develop another big body. I have a lot of really tall mid-sized bodies on the field, so if I could swing with them this turn, I definitely would want to. I actually end up playing the 7 cost, and I think this turn I make a huge misplay that loses me the game. It might be next turn. Okay, I don't. I actually do the thing I should have done this turn, that I need to do the next turn and not swinging with my 7 cost Foxy. I end up swinging with my 7 cost Foxy, and then I end up over protecting it because it's generating me a lot of value. And my opponent just does end up clearing it. Should have done the math and just let them clear it. Okay, they draw 2 trash 1. They have a ton of cards in hand. They have a lot of counter, which sucks for me. I don't have a ton of counter in my hand at this point. Trash an Ito Mimizo. I'm gonna rest my Ito Mimizo and probably swinging at it with their Porsche. I don't really mind it getting lost here because it's not generating me a lot of value in reality, because I have the 2 Foxys out. So I take here and fall down to 3. I don't really mind being at 3 at this point. And my opponent has a board that I can swing into at this point. I do believe I have the 3 cost event here, but I do not use it. Probably makes sense to rest the chopper here and swing into it with my Porsche. And I believe I pitched a 3 cost Porsche there. Not really something I should have done. Yeah, I should have rested the chopper because I could have swung into it with my Porsche and just cleared board a little more. That 8 cost Foxy isn't really doing too much for my opponent, and resting it isn't going to help me out at all. So I swing with both Foxys here, which does get a lot of counter out of my opponent's hand, but now it opens up my Foxys for being swung at, which sucks for me a lot. So rather than swinging with the Foxys, I probably should have swung with the Rosinante, to be honest. Because I don't really mind if the Rosinante gets swung at, it just gets cleared, and I mean, it's basically a blocker at that point. and it's a taller body than the Foxy's. If you're wondering, my Don is all gold, Japanese Foxy Don. I picked him up before PRV2 came out in the West, which was a wise move because after it did, they shot up a little bit. Probably doubled in price, so good investment by me if you're thinking about it like that. But yeah. But I need to play really, really well in this matchup, and I don't. That's why I do end up losing. The 10 cost swinging at my Foxy, I should just not defend it here, yeah. And that's what I end up doing. And they swing again at the other Foxy, a 10. So if I block with the Rosinante, I have to 2k, 1k. Oh no, the board's reduced by 1, so it's a 9. So I just have to 2k. And then he's gonna pop my Porsche and develop a body on board. And I still have 3 big bodies on board. He has 3 big bodies on board, although one of mine is a blocker. So at this point, I believe one of the reasons I let the 7 cost Foxy go was because I have another one, so I believe I play that this turn. And then I leave 3 Don up for doing something else that's really important in the mirror. Actually, maybe I don't. Alright, so I rest 3, return 1, and play Porsche. That's actually a really good play for me, just because it helps develop my board a little bit wider, and whoever has the best board kind of wins this matchup. I search in Ito Mimizu. I don't think I should play it here because, again, I have the 2 Foxys out already, but I play it off of the Porsche, which maybe not the worst play because I don't think I had anything else. If I had like a chopper, that probably would have been better play, but I don't think I did. I think at this point I do have just 3 choppers in my deck, and I swing a 9. I think that's a misplay. I should have just swung really big with the other Foxy at that Foxy just to try and clear it because he does have a blocker. So that was a pretty big misplay. I do end up swinging with my leader here, and there's a reason for it. I return the 3 and freeze the Doflamingo, and then I can restand my leader with the Megaton Ninetales Rush and not have to worry about the aggression he can put on. But he does have the ability to swing at my 7 cost this turn, which does suck for me quite a bit. So I think I should have left the 7 cost active and swung with my Rosinante in Law and the 8 cost Foxy at the other 8 cost Foxy in order to kind of clear my opponent's board and put some aggression on his game state. He does have a ton of cards in hand, which does suck for me, and now that I see he has 2 7 cost Foxys, it's even scarier. Maybe the 7 costs aren't good in this matchup. If you know, let me know. This is my first time playing this mirror. Opponent is doing some Don math. I'll bump it up a little bit speed wise because this Foxy game does go for a while. Bump it up to 1.25. He's going to swing a 10 at my 7 cost, I believe, and I have to block. And then he swings a 7, or he swings a 9 and a 7, and I just had to give up a bunch of cards, and he gets to develop a body. So that is really favorable for my opponent. I probably should not have swung, and then I could have just relied on my Rosinante in Law to either block or eat a swing. I can delay for another turn, and I'm kind of trying to screw with my opponent, make them not think I have the 3 cost event by putting up a bunch of stacks of those. So here I swing 6 at the Groggy Monsters. I'm just trying to cut down my opponent's hand because he has such a huge hand. Then I swing a 6 at the Groggy Monsters. This was a misplay. Should have just left it up. That way I don't have to defend it. I should have just swung with the Rosinante in Law. Rosinante in Law is going to get me way more value. Then I swing an 8 at the Groggy Monsters, and I think this is what gets it, finally. It leaves me with a lot of Don. I think I just end up swinging at the 9 cost Foxy and returning 3. I have to return an active one, so I should have attached it to something and got some value. But here I do get a 2k, so I see my opponent only has 2ks. I restand my leader, and then I ramp everything back. Trying to be on my A game in this matchup, but it's really not working out for me, unfortunately, just because I'm not thinking about what's generating me value. I think in this kind of mirror match where you have to play sort of to the best of your ability and you're playing kind of vanillas or like kind of pre-release format, if that makes sense, where it's like your leader doesn't really do anything other than swing. And in this case, it's not really swinging either. I have to be thinking about what's generating me the most value. And in this case, it would have been swinging with the Rosinante in Law because I know this turn my opponent is going to swing into my 7 cost, which is going to really help out my opponent. And they do get to rest my Rosinante in Law, so if I knew that they had that Foxy, it would have been an even better play to rest or swing with the Rosinante in Law. All right, and then they swing a 9 at that Foxy, and I have to give 2 cards here because, again, my Rosinante-in-Law is rested. And now I'm down to 2 cards in hand, and he guarantees gets to clear it. I have 1 more 2k in hand, so that did work out for me pretty well. But I have no cards in hand, and my opponent has a 5-card hand. Really, really not favorable for me. I need to clear that 7-cost Foxy first in order to get some value and swing with my Porsche. All right, I swing 9 at the Foxy. And this is smart. I believe he does end up letting it go eventually. No, 2k, 1k. So I do get my opponent down low on cards in hand. I swing another 9. And that gets it, fortunately. I have enough Don here to swing at the other Foxy. I probably should have swung at the other Foxy with the Rosinante-in-Law. Again, I need to be swinging with this Rosinante-in-Law. It's not generating me enough value. I leave 2 down up for a event. Oh no, I do end up swinging with the Rosinante-in-Law, fortunately. And I get the, or no, yeah, and I swing into the Doflamingo. Yeah. And that does get some value for me. My opponent's also at 1 card at this point. But I don't have any defensive stuff. And this is the turn where I overcommit into protecting my Foxy, I believe. Opponent has 3 cards in hand, actually. So they had 2 before. I have a really nice board right now, so I don't want to lose it. And my opponent did see me hesitate to put the 2 Don on the Rosinante-in-Law. So he knows that I have a brick in hand, essentially, at this point. I do 2k out of this, and then he gets to swing again, and I 2k out of that. So not necessarily a bad play here if I do manage to clear the 2 8-cost Foxys on the next turn. But I need to be doing the math if I can, and my opponent does have a ton of Don up, and he has one in a 3-stack pile. So I know that something's going to come out this turn that's going to slow me down, and then he's going to be able to freeze one of my characters. I'm going to swing 5 at the Porsche. I can't protect it, which sucks for me. And then the big Foxy gets frozen. So this turn, I need to really, really clear the 8-cost Foxys in order to survive. And I can't swing with my leader, so I only have 2 swings to do that. I believe my opponent has 3 cards in hand at this point. So I grab the 7-cost Foxy, then I think I play the 7-cost Foxy. I don't think I should have played it here. I should have probably grabbed some counter, and then swung with my Foxy and my Rosinante-in-Law to clear the board. That was not my opponent shaking, that was the camera shaking. I'm thinking about whether or not I swing here. My opponent's low on cards in hand, and this is a misplay. I end up swinging 6 at my opponent. That sucks for me. I do have 2 Don up, and I don't think I think I have 1 card in hand or 0 cards in hand at this point. So my opponent knows he can just clear my board. So he just swings at the Foxy, and it sucks for me. This is where the game kind of turned and I lost. I should have done what my opponent's doing this turn, the turn where I played that 7-cost Foxy the last turn. So big misplay by me, really unfortunate. I should have noticed where I can get some value, and I didn't. At this point, I'm like losing hope. I'm like, oh crap, if he swings at my other Foxy, I have nothing on board to do anything with. My opponent does swing 9 into that Foxy and clears it. I have, again, nothing. So I'm in a really rough spot. My board just got cleared. I only have 1 real swing, and my opponent has, at this point, they're gonna have 4 swings. So I'm pretty screwed. I have no cards in hand and no way to clear my opponent's board, especially with my opponent having, I think at this point, 4 or 5 cards in hand. I'm gonna replace and play the Chopper, which helps him protect his board even more. Really sucks for me. Swing with the Foxy into my life. I just take it because I need the cards. I think I saw a trigger there actually, which sucks because would have loved to see that in the early game. All right, I rest 8, and I believe I have the 8-cost Foxy coming out here. Or I'm just trying to go for game or something. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to think about how I can go for game, because I know I need to. I end up going 10 at the Foxy, which is going to be a 9. Something I needed to do way earlier, and when my opponent didn't leave 2 Don up. I swing 5 at life. My opponent takes it, and I just pass. I'm screwed at this point. I know it. So sad. It's really rough for me. Alright, my opponent does try and clear the Foxy. I can 2k out of it. And now my opponent does know that I don't have the 2k event, the slow beam, and just clears my board. I can't do anything about it. I give a 1k actually here. And my opponent does just get to clear my board after I swung with Rosinante Law. They have the Porsche, and they clear the Rosinante Law, and at this point I'm pretty screwed. Gonna swing at my leader, or no, they swing at my Itamamizu. My opponent knows they have a game, so it's kind of just like, at this point I can't use leader ability. I think I tried to on accident at some point. Not really on accident. I tried to because I forget that you have to have 3 out on the field. My opponent's really hoping I don't see a Porsche here, because if I do see a Porsche, then I can probably get my leader ability online, which would be the only way I can survive. Alright, I grab the 8 cost. Play the 8 cost. The only way I can win here is, or only way I can get leader effect online here, is if I see the Gina, who is the only 1 cost, and I don't, so I can't use leader ability. I rest the Chopper, and then I think I swing 5 and I try to lock down. Yeah, I try to use leader effect, and I'm like, my opponent's like, oh, you don't have 3 out, and I'm like, oh crap. That's rough for me. So a couple misplays in this video, a couple like some really rough cheating at one point on my fault. I like completely claim that was a like stupid misplay on my part that I shouldn't have done. But yeah, I want to do these kind of games where I analyze how I play, A, so I can see those misplays and do better, and B, so that I can show everyone how I should be playing and what gameplay looks like in person. And here I just end up getting killed. You can kind of expect it just because I have no cards in hand. I say good game and pass. That was the finals though, so I did end up going 3-1. I played really well in my first and third games. Nothing like that cheating in this game or the other 2, which I'm really embarrassed about that, for the record. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at this. If you have any feedback for me, let me know. I'm going to try and have a new editor on this video, so if you have any feedback for him, let him know in the comments. I know he will probably read them. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give it a like. If you want to help the channel out, subscribe. I do have a TCG Player affiliate link down below, so if you want to support me, give me a little 3% back from your order at no charge for you. Check that out and use that next time you make a purchase. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.